Hello and welcome to the webinar today. I'm going to be showing you our new advanced forms and how it can really improve your customer experience really easily. Advanced forms is the latest development in our Squiz DXP. I'm Leonie May, Senior Product Marketing Manager here at Squiz, and you'll be joining me over the next 40-45 minutes as we run through how our new advanced forms is helping our customers, some of the benefits they've experienced, what you can do with advanced forms beyond collecting data to improve your end user experiences. And you'll also get a demo of the video, of the advanced forms in action. So let's get started. So first, some introductions. Joining me to answer your questions is Julie Brettle, Chief Product Officer, with Product Manager Eugene Mok, showcasing advanced forms via video. And just to start off with some of the housekeeping, this webinar is being recorded and you will receive a copy via email within the next day. If you have any technical difficulties during the session, you can use the Q&A window by clicking on the icon at the bottom of your screen there. And please submit any questions into the Q&A window. Feel free to submit these questions at any time, as Julie will be answering them at the end of the session. So let's go through why you should care about forms. If forms are used correctly, they are a really powerful tool for making decisions. You collect valuable data on customer preferences, satisfaction, and areas needing improvement. You can optimize processes to streamline operations. So think about reducing administrative tasks using forms instead of staff. You can improve your user experience. So forms can enable your customers to self-serve and complete tasks themselves. And forms really help with data governance. So forms ensure your data collection is standardized, safe, and always compliant. So why should service-led organizations care about advanced forms? Well, creating customizable and dynamic forms is hard and it's time-consuming. So for example, creating forms with logic, revealing questions based on answers provided, or forms that appear with pre-filled information about a person, they can be really complicated to build and implement. And common challenges that we hear from our customers about creating forms include the complex development. Because building forms to meet your unique needs, it can be complex and really costly. There's significant development effort and expertise required. Some teams we've heard are unable to self-serve. So this means marketing and non-technical type teams are unable to get the jobs done. It can cause bottlenecks in your organization, reducing the time to market and increasing implementation costs. It's also hard to maintain and there's no centralization. Some customers might choose a niche form solution, but that always comes at a cost, as you know, and not just paying the application itself, but maintaining it. And then niche form solutions also add more software to your tech stack, and maintaining all of the different solutions with point-to-point integrations that can get messy really, really fast. And you can have data end up in duplicated across different systems, and there's no central place to access all of your forms or your data. And there's also data vulnerability and security risk. So security practices of having add-ons, plugins can't be guaranteed. As we know, hacking and risks to customer data are at an all-time high, and you need a centralized location to monitor all of your data and any threats. So how has Squiz Advanced Forms helped solve those challenges? With our advanced forms, non-technical users can create forms in minutes. You quickly construct customizable forms that meet your specific needs and provide a meaningful customer experience. There's no developer reliance, so you don't require developers to get started, implement, or build dynamic forms. Developers can get time back to work on value-added tasks. It's fast to build and deliver to a variety of channels, as you'll see. We've got drag and drop form builder, predetermined form fields, and customizable conditional logic. Anyone can build and publish a form in minutes. And you can be confident that you're always going to meet accessibility standards. And it's easy to deliver forms to your websites, portals, apps, mobile, email, and more. You just have to give your team the tools to get it done without the complexity. And it's easy to integrate and centralize. So integrations are easy with our out-of-the-box connectors. Connect forms to automatically route data to other digital applications. For example, update your customer information on your CRM, and all forms are centralized to one location, the Squiz DXP. and you're always secure and compliant. Advanced Forms collects and securely stores customer data. We offer enterprise-grade security and protection in one location, being the DXP. You can effectively manage customer data while ensuring compliance, privacy, security, and always be in line with GDPR regulations. You get that total peace of mind. And as you know, automatic updates and upgrades on SaaS mean you always have the latest functionality and security. You leave the maintenance to us. And as you may know, Squiz DXP is made up of 9 core capabilities that you need to build brilliant experiences really fast. You can come as you are with our DXP by bringing and integrating your current tech solutions. Everything works as one and allows you to embrace change with confidence, knowing your experiences are always secure and you can make changes without anything breaking. Squiz Advanced Forms is part of our experience management capability, and that's the one that allows you to build, manage, govern, and evolve omni-channel end user experiences fast. But before we show you actually how Squiz DXP's Advanced Forms works, I just want to give an overview of some of the possibilities and things you can do. So first, as mentioned, you can create forms really fast. You can create solutions, or we've heard of solutions taking months to actually create dynamic forms, and we've had the same results within days. You can publish and share. So publish your forms anywhere across all devices. You can embed forms or share via links. You can view, download, or use responses at any time or send directly to other systems. And of course, you can optimize the experiences for your customers. So when we talk about being able to create fast, we mean using the visual no-code drag and drop builder, of course. There's also pre-built templates and ready-made field types to get you started really quickly. And it's easy to create multi-step and multi-page forms. It also supports payment gateways, digital signatures, file uploads for extra data collection. And it's really easy to publish and share the form itself. So you can embed the forms on your website, whether that's a Squiz site or a third-party site, such as Drupal, Sitecore, Adobe, WordPress, or some other CMS solution you're using. And you can share on your social channels or emails with a URL link, or you can place into a portal, or even generate a QR code for fast collection. And to actually see and use the responses, there's quite a few options for you. You can route submissions to other applications like your CRM, SIS, marketing automation tools, or data storage, or you can send data to your CDP to personalize the content. You can apply approval workflow. So that's when members of your team get notified if they need to take an action. And you can also view the results in your DXP or export to PDF or CSV, sorry. And just some possibilities of what you can use forms for and how you can optimize for your customers includes gathering signatures electronically, making payments, completing registration, gathering feedback, enrolling in a course, entering a competition, completing a survey, making a booking, and that's just the beginning of some of the possibilities. So now I'm going to share our product manager, Eugene Mok, explaining a little bit about the back end of Advanced Forms and showing you the product in action.
Hey everyone, it's Eugene here, product manager for Squiz. And thank you, Leonie, for the intro. So today I wanted to take everyone through an example. We're going to build an advanced form together on our local government website. So I'm going to cover some of the really cool functionality, such as conditional logic, e-signatures, payment gateways, auto calcs, and a lot. And yeah, we'll have a look at the finished product together as well. So let's crack into it. Okay, so let's start with the finished product. So what you see on the screen here is the final product of the form that we're going to be creating together. And this is on our local government website. You can see here, everything here is ready to go. But let's jump into the creation process together. So right now I'm in the advanced form builder and I'm about to create a new form. Today we're going to be going with the blank form. Let's start with adding our header to this form. Next, I'm going to add a heading to this form. For our example, this is a Squiz Council parking permit form. So therefore, my title is a parking permit form. Next, we're going to add a subheading. So just to make this heading stand out a little bit more, we're going to change some of the stylings behind this particular field. What you need to do is go back to the field, go to Edit Details, Show Advanced Options. First, we're going to change the background color. For this example, I'm going to change it to Squiz centric colors, and I'm going to change the text to white to make it easier to read. And let's just make the alignment to be centered. Let's do the same for this H1 heading here. Next, I'm going to start adding some metadata fields in here. We're going to need to grab a phone number. We want to capture the email address too. So for the email address, we have a field that is as part of our validation. So this will actually validate that your customer is entering a proper email address. And of course, with every permit form, you also need an address field. For customers who are not within the ANZ region, you'll be able to soon select your selected region, and this will pre-populate some of the fields down here. Next up, we'll probably need the driver's license of the customer applying for this permit. So let's add that on as well. Let's have a question here to capture the car rego number while we're at it. So let's put in a question here for your customer to upload a file. Just to add a bit of structure to your form as well, let's add a break divider. Okay, next we're going to be adding in a conditional question for your customers. We'll go to the form field section here on the side panel, pick the choose one field type, put in the sub values here under the question. So we're going to also allow our customers to add multiple drivers to be a part of this permit. To do that, we first need to add a field table to place all those fields in as part of that conditional logic. So now that we have all the fields in place within the field table, we can start configuring the conditional logic. Just the full name one. You go to Edit Field Details, go to Show Advanced Options, and tick this last box here. Show hide this field with conditional logic. First, we're going to select the previous question. Would you like to nominate another driver for your permit? When they say yes, then this field will show. We'll then do the same thing for the next field next to full name, which is the driver's license field. Last thing we're going to do on this particular form is add a page break. What a page break means on the advanced form builder, it means that you can break down this page into a second step, or what we call as a multi-page. And now it breaks into a second page. And let's have a look at what we created so far. Okay, all your fields are in play. You've got your validation here. You can see I didn't put in the act, so it validates that my email is incorrect. And let's see how our conditional logic actually works. If I select yes, the field table should show. And if I want to add another driver, I can do so with the macro that I added before. And of course, we broke the page before to a second page, so let's see if that works. And there we go. So let's continue now. Okay, so for our example and our second page, we want to start adding in some payment detail type questions so that we can get those details off the customer who is applying for the permit. Because it is a new section, we're going to be adding a H2 heading as per before, just to break it up and make it look nicer. So you go to Add a heading field from the design elements, and we're going to be picking the Squiz colors for this example, and the font to be white. So next I want to add in a field that can auto-calculate how much the permit would cost dependent on time. But for this example, I'm going to use time and duration as that metric. Okay, so to set up the auto calculation tool, we need to first pick some values. For my example, I'm going to pick this particular field to start setting up those values and put in some values here. So for me, I'm going to put in 12 months, 24 months, or 36 months. Now go to Show Advanced Options. There'll be a section here called Assign Numeric Values for your options, where you can actually put in dollar amounts for the option selected. Okay, next we're going to start the next step of the Auto Calc field. And go to the calculation field type. Name this amount. Now you need to go to, so we're going to be adding the formula here. So you go into the Insert Into Formula and use the previous question as that driver. And because I've entered the full amount in the numeric value for the previous field, I'm just going to add 1 to it. Okay, now that our customer has selected the duration of their permit, they know how much they need to pay. Let's add a payment gateway for them to do so. I'm going to be using PayPal as the payment gateway. You should also be sure to check this particular flag here to change price dynamically based on form choices. This will automatically pick up the calculated price from the previous 2 fields and add that to the payment to make it easier for the customer. So now we've got the payment gateway on the builder itself. Let's make the structure look a bit better by adding a divider in below it. Okay, so now that we've broken up the form here with the divider, let's start adding in some T's and C's. For this example, I'll be using our formatted text field. What we can actually do with the formatted text is change the fonts, the variations, colors, alignments, and so forth. Okay, so let's put a checkbox in to make sure that they've actually read it. Okay, so once we've received that confirmation from the customer, and usually, by the way, you will make this a mandatory field, but for example, let's just fly through this so that we can go through and showcase the rest of the form. But yeah, provided that this is a mandatory field, let's go to the next one and put in a digital signature field. The digital signature has 2 options for your customers. They can draw the signature directly on the form, or they can pick type signature as well, being able to type it and just validate that they've confirmed that they're going to be submitting this form. Let's add in a reCAPTCHA. We have both Google reCAPTCHA and standard CAPTCHA. For our example, we'll be using the standard HCAPTCHA. Okay, now that we've added everything in, let's start changing the styling of all our font families and colors so that it's in line with your brand requirements. You scroll up to the side panel area and go to Styling and Themes. We all know that this is quite a long form, especially if you're going to be creating forms that are more than 2 pages. So let's go into form settings and see what other options we have. From here, you can configure emails and SMSs after the form submission to your customers. You can have a quick confirmation message that you can send to your customers as well, with styling included. But what we want to get into is the usability side. This particular feature is what I quite like that we've added to the form builder, which is enable users to save and complete later. Once that's ticked, it's automatically activated. We also have security access where you can put in usernames and passwords required to access a form, and a built-in workflow that you can use as part of that approval process for forms as well. We've got some integration paths available for our customers that are out of box, and soon to come is our own Squiz Connect recipes that you can use to easily integrate with other tech stacks within your organization. Okay, so let's get to the publishing. Once you're done with form settings, you go to the form publishing, and you have a few options. You can send out the form via URL, so your customers can access it that way, or you can generate a QR code for your customers as well. Within the embed options, you're going to have a JavaScript path, but also an iframe path as well. But we recommend a JavaScript path so that it can be inheriting all the styling from your websites. So let's go ahead and copy the path here and paste it onto our page. Before we actually paste it onto our page, let's have a look at what we've built so far. Go to View Form, making sure that everything works. Okay, our second page, you can see it auto-calculates it as well. And then our PayPal will automatically capture that particular amount. You've got your validation checkbox here, as we mentioned before. We can digitally sign the form, or we can go to type avenue. And we've got our reCAPTCHA. Okay, so let's get this form onto our page and as part of our content. Now, I've teleported to the page that we want to add this form in, and I've entered into edit mode as well. So, simply add a component, paste in the script that you had before, hit save, go to the page in which this form has been added, go to preview, and there's the form that we've built together. Thank you for your time today in watching this video. If you have any further questions, please reach out to Squiz.
Okay, and I'd like to invite Julie Brettle here to answer many of the questions that have come through today. So,
Lots.
hi, Julie. I'll start from the top and continue working down, if that's okay. We've got quite a few to get through.
Yeah, all good.
Okay, the first one is, are the advanced forms available in DXP, or is it available in Matrix 6?
Sort of both. So you do need to be on the new DXP pricing to get access to forms. But once you're on that new pricing and you have access to the forms and you've paid for it, then you can access them through Matrix 6 or through the advanced forms button on the DXP console.
How do I get access to advanced forms wizard?
So you can talk to your account manager. There is a button available on the DXP console, which will get you into that advanced forms builder that Eugene just showed. But yeah, we just need to get you onto the new pricing, and then you'll be able to start using it straight away.
So my poor driving here. Can the user details be pre-filled if the form is behind authenticated access?
So the short answer is yes, but the product manager in me wants to make it better. So we're still working on the sync between our forms and our CDP, for example, so that you can, if you're logged into an authenticated portal and this is a known customer that is inside the Squiz CDP, you want to pre-fill what you already know about them, like name, address, for example. So we're still working on that sync. That should be available very, very soon. There are ways of pre-populating the form fields at the moment, but we want to make it even easier and just to improve the UI. So yes, but stay tuned for it to get better.
That's really cool. Will there be address autocomplete out of the box?
So not out of the box. We're looking at that because we're a global company. We need to make sure that it works globally. So we are working on getting that working globally before we release it. So it's something that is coming soon, but not right now.
It's very
Sorry,
efficient.
I'm doing really short answers, aren't I? I should be spitting
No,
this out more.
good. We've got 20 questions to get through.
I know, I'm trying to be succinct.
We'll be efficient as possible, but if there are any questions after, actually, I might just pop that on screen now. You can send them through to ask@squiz.net. In the meantime, I'll continue going through the questions that we have live. So can you also demo the forms on mobile? I'm wondering about 2 and 3 column layouts and how that will display.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think we can definitely do a video demo, or maybe if you want to get in contact with your account manager, we could set up a meeting and go through it in a little bit more detail than we had time for today. That's probably the best bet. It definitely does work on mobile. All forms that are created can be rendered on any size of mobile device, phone, tablet, etc. But if you contact your account manager, we can set up a short meeting and go through the whole end-to-end process with you.
Interesting. This one's about access and submitting forms when internet connectivity is temporarily unavailable. So can users still access and submit forms in that situation?
Yeah, so if your internet access is struggling, you can save your progress and resume the form later once your internet connection has improved. You do need an internet connection to submit the final form, though.
On mobile, again, when uploading an attachment, can you use phone camera?
You can. I literally saw that question and just tested it on my phone 2 minutes ago, so it 100% works.
Fantastic. Will users be able to create and standardize their own personalized templates with advanced forms?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really key. We know that, we have a few out-of-the-box templates, but we know that customizing it to make sure it's as on-brand as possible and that brand template is as reusable as possible is very important. So absolutely.
Yeah, cool. And in similar question, can you style using CSS so form creators don't need to repeat those style steps?
You can, but it is something that we want to improve on. We want it to be able to, inherit CSS templates, so it's a lot easier to do styling and reusable styling. So it's something that we're working on improving. Yeah. So that should be out. That should be improved soon. So you can do basics at the moment, but we want to make it better.
Yeah, if there's any more specific questions, perhaps just pop them through to the email so we can actually reach out to you directly for an answer.
Yeah, and also do some demos. Like it'd be really easy to have a 15-minute meeting where we can just you can ask a few questions and we can do some live demos as well.
Very cool. Is there any versioning?
Not right now. It's not something that anyone has been asking for, but it is something that's important. We do have both the ask@squiz.net, but our newly released way that you can give feedback on features you'd like to see in the Squiz DXP. So we'd love it if that is something that's important to you for forms. We would really love it if you let us know through either of those two channels, and we can make sure that it ends up on our roadmap.
Cool. Just a payment question. Is BPoint going to be a standard payment inclusion in the future?
Yes. So we are looking at, for Australia customers, we're looking at all the different banks. So the net bank, so the BPoint through CommBank, EasyWay, and a few other ones. So yeah, we want to go above and beyond what we've got with PayPal and Stripe at the moment.
Can we use other payment gateways or only PayPal is available for now? I think you've just answered that question.
Sort of, yeah. Stripe's available too. It's very flexible and easy to use, but we want to make sure it's easy to do the Australian banks, and then we'll be explaining that out globally, of course.
Is it possible to customize the email templates?
Yes. Everything's customizable. We want it to be customizable.
Can you refer to other HTML pages in the form? For example, a help file.
I believe so. If you give me 10 minutes, I'll check later. I'll check after this. I believe so. I would want to just 100% confirm by doing a test myself, but I would assume so. If you let me know your email address through the ask@squiz.net, I will confirm it and get back to you straight after this.
Perfect. Can you let us know if it's only available on SaaS? Can you integrate with external APIs to validate data? So 2 questions there. I guess first one is it
only available on SaaS? So the SaaS DXP is where all of our new features and functionality is available. So yes, that's correct. If you are currently on the Squiz Cloud version of the DXP or an older version of Matrix, talk to your account manager. There might be something that we can do to get you earlier access. And what was the second one? APIs?
Yeah, can you integrate with external API to validate data?
To an extent, I think it's probably worth us having a chat with you around what you're trying to do there. We've allowed some, but obviously we need to make sure that validating data and any data that's passing through a form is at a really high security level. We need to make sure that any data your customers are submitting is behind all of our security protocols. So we'd want to make sure that any API work that you wanted to do was following our standard guidelines. So if you let us know what you're after, we can definitely talk about the best way to get that working for you.
Makes sense. Can you use external APIs on the form fields?
I think the last question is very similar to that one. So yeah, a lot of things are possible with forms. The way that we built them is very flexible. What we'd want to do again is just make sure that we're following the highest security guidelines, because there can be quite sensitive, personally identifiable information that can pass through forms. So we want to make sure it's secure. So again, if you contact your account manager, we can have a chat with someone from our development team, perhaps, around what you're trying to achieve and the best way to do that.
Can we embed a form in a content page?
Yes, very easily. So if you're on the latest version of Matrix 6, it will be very simple to do that. But there are obviously options where you can copy and paste a form created inside the Squiz DXP into any CMS.
Okay, the options for file attachments. Can we include links to upload files in the receipt email so staff can download uploaded files? This is a very specific question.
It is a very specific question. So you can download attached files inside the admin screen on the form. So there is an admin screen where you can go in, you can see a high-level version of all the responses, you can see files that were uploaded, you can download CSV versions of all your responses, filter them and sort them. It's very flexible. I'm kind of going back to the security question, honestly, is do you want to be sending via email a whole bunch of different files around, especially if they could be secure? So the answer is it's probably possible. I'd say it's highly probably possible. It's just whether it's the best idea from a security point of view, because you want to make sure that whoever has access to anything that's being uploaded is the appropriate person to have access to that. I guess that's a long answer, but the short answer is yes, but make sure it's the right thing to do.
For organizations with decentralized form creation and content author share, can the form be workflowed to a centralized team to check the standards or policy before publishing? So it's a workflow question.
Oh, yes. No, that would be fine. So the Squiz DXP works with a lot of different workflow engines, third party. We also have our own that can enable sort of an approval process. So this is something that would be able to be done, yes.
Oh, we got a question, not a question, but a comment. It will save hours building forms. Yes, that is correct. And we've already had our customers testing this out, which has been.
We had 17 customers in our beta program. And it was very exciting to see all the feedback on how much faster it was to build forms in this. We know our existing forms capability is very powerful, but we know it's also a little complicated sometimes. So one of the things we wanted to do with this is build a complementary forms tool that really makes it easy for people to self-service all of the different types of forms they need to make.
Yeah, absolutely. So just reading this one, can we create multi-submit actions from one form? So that's where a submission data goes to external data sources, but they're different locations.
Yes, absolutely. So if you want to sync form answers 1, 2, and 3 to your CRM and form answers 5, 6, and 7 to your CDP, for example, it's absolutely possible. There's quite a lot of flexibility using the Squiz integrations capability around how you want to send the data and where you want to send the data. And because you're using the Squiz integrations capability, it's very secure because the data is encrypted both in transit and at rest.
Does the reCAPTCHA meet WCAG 2.1, 2.2 standards?
The output does, yes.
So I'm just flying through these.
I know, I'm trying to be succinct in my answers. Normally I'm a bit more chatty, but there's just so many questions, so I'm trying to get through them all.
Just about the QR codes, did I hear you say it can create QR codes dynamic, or is it a case of just embedding?
I think you can do them dynamically. I'll need to double check. Again, if you pop your email, if you send us through in ask.squiz.net, I'll double check and get back to you straight after this. But I believe it's dynamic, but let me 100% certain on that one.
I can go back through this after the show as well.
Yes,
do the forms generate code compliant with WCAG?
Yes.
Perfect. Can you give me an example of the reporting capability and output?
Yeah, so it might be easier if we book again as something with your account manager and we can show you that. I don't think there was anything that Eugene put in the video that showed sort of the output, but essentially there is a screen where you can see all of your different forms. You can open up individual forms and see, you know, high level things like, you know, the number of responses, numbers of views, things like that. It is something we want to be looking at improving. So it'd be great if you had any feedback on what you would like to see there, sort of at a high level statistical summary of forms results. So what would be useful there?
Can forms be formatted in the same way as current forms being using our styling? So can you add tool tips next to fields, explanation bubbles with extra information? What accessibility items are integrated? Sort of the field focus.
Yeah, this is a complicated one. So yes, so forms can be formatted in the way that Eugene was showing, which is not the same way that the existing CMS forms are, because they're usually done through more through code. So we wanted to make this more of a point and click interface and make it very simple for more non-technical users to be able to format forms as much as they wanted. Add tooltips next to fields. Yes, you can do that so that you can explain, you know, what you're actually asking for. Accessibility items are integrated. So there's a number. Accessibility is really important for us and our customers. So there's a number of different accessibility, but it does meet the WCAG 2.1 compliance. So the ones that you would expect are integrated. If you have a specific question about a specific accessibility item, please let me know.
Okay, similar to a previous question, can you add your own address lookup service? So it's adding your own address lookup service.
Yeah, I believe that's something that we could help you sort out if you have one that you're already using and you're already paying for example, and you just want to integrate it in with the forms.
Is it possible to have a review page? So pre-filled with the user entered fields at the end of the form for the users before submitting the form.
So like a page on here is everything that you've submitted if you wanted to review it.
Yeah.
I don't see why not. I'm sure we can work something like that on that out.
So once the user submits their form, where do we access their responses?
So inside the advanced form screen, there's a default place where you can see all of the responses. You can download that in a CSV file and filter on that as well. There are a number of different options that you want to do if you want to send your forms data or attachments, for example, into specific locations that are available through the Squiz integrations capability. Like if you want to sync it to your CRM, we have pre-built integrations for that. If you want to sync it to the CDP, etc.
Just a question, options for reporting. I think you've just touched on that already.
Yeah.
That's fine. Can you send confirmation emails to the user and different content?
You mean different content for the user depending on how they answered the form, perhaps? So if it was like a yes, no, something, if they said yes, send them content A. If they said no, send them content B.
I assume so. So can you send confirmation emails to the user?
You can definitely send confirmation emails to the user. I would need to double check around different content depending on how they answered the form. This would be something that would be very easy to set up with a workflow, however. So you could just say if they've answered these questions in this particular way, you know, send them this email, otherwise send them this email, for example.
If these questions are not answering what you need, please just send them through to ask@squiz.net as well, and we can follow up with you after. So I noticed that in the integration section, a few options were provided, such as Facebook. Can we integrate with other systems like Dynamics 365, Salesforce?
Yep, definitely. So through the Squiz integrations capability, we've got pre-built connectors to most CRMs, a few ERPs, all the different places you might want to store form data. So yes, this is able to be done through the integrations capability. And obviously, we also have, as part of the integrations capability, it's got its own REST API, webhooks, things like that. So if it's not something that we have pre-built, it'll be very simple for you to build your own.
Perfect. Forms save and exit. So client can fill again later. Is that option available? So
yes.
that they
Yeah, so if you can save halfway through the form and then come back to through a specific URL to the half filled in form again and complete it later.
Can I see the results and download them?
Yes, so inside the advanced forms capability on the console, There's a results page where you can review all the results and see some high-level stats as well. You can also download the forms as a CSV and see all the results there.
Is Microsoft Dynamics CRM a current future planned integration?
Yes, so we have a pre-built integration for Dynamics in our integrations capability already. We also have Salesforce and can't remember the other CRM. We've got a few CRMs in there. So yes, if you have a look at our integrations page on our website, you can see all of the different pre-built integrations we have that are available through our integrations capability.
Fantastic. Address lookup again. Very popular question.
Still not yet. We're looking at a more global solution since we do have global customers. So we need to make sure that address lookup would work wherever their customers may be located. So it's not available now, but it will be available very soon.
Yeah. Next one's about storing submissions. So where are the submissions stored?
Yep.
Are there options to store data in EU for European users, so GDPR compliance?
Absolutely. So we have local hosting so that if you're in Australia, your submissions will never leave Australia. They'll be hosted locally in Australia. We have similarly for the UK and for America as well. So we have 3 hosted locations. So your data will never leave it. And that means we are GDPR compliant for that particular case. Yes.
Yep. Next one's about downloading information from the forms, which we've gone through in the prior questions. Can you use custom field validation, for example, checking the answers conform to a regular expression?
Yes, there's field validation.
Cool. How do you compare it with Lapley Forms, which is widely used in government websites?
Well, I'm very biased because this is our forms and I like them more, obviously. I think what we really wanted to build was we were really focusing on making it very easy and fast to build forms that had lots of different options and that could be built without needing to have a developer sitting behind you and helping you out with the options. I don't have a specific comparison to Lapley, but I am hoping that the integrations and things would probably make this a lot easier to use inside the Squiz DXP and also for any other CMS that you might be using if you're using multiple CMSs. So yeah, we really focused in on user experience and just trying to make it as easy and fast and simple to build lots of forms because we know that every single Squiz customer has at least form and most of them have hundreds of forms. So we knew this was really important for our customers to make it easy and fast to be able to build forms and get them out for their customers.
Will we have the same silent file upload size limit as we currently do with Matrix? Also, is there any limit on the number of fields? So limitation questions. The first one's about upload size.
So the file upload limit is 300 meg. You can specify a smaller number if you would like to specify that for your own customers. So if you only want them to upload 200 meg when you're creating the form, you can specify that. Yeah. So it's less silent and more, it's 300 meg. I'm hoping that works. If it doesn't, again, let us know if you have a specific use case around larger forms and we can definitely, larger forms file submission, and we can definitely work with you on that one. There is no limit on the number of fields.
Can custom components be created using HTML, JSC, CSS? Custom components.
Custom components or custom fields? We've really been focusing on making this as easy to use for non-technical users as possible. So it might be possible, but it might not be the best way of actually making a form. The existing forms capability is not going away. So if you are a developer who still needs to make a very, very, very complex form that you would like to use code to build that form instead, you can still use the existing form capability. This forms is really aimed at sort of content editors and other not quite developers who are trying to build forms much easier and faster.
Fantastic. We've still got quite a few questions to go. I might just have to end it there, and we will answer all of these questions after the session and send them through. So as per normal, after a webinar, we always create a Q&A page that we send through to all those that have registered, and that will answer any question that we get in the session. So I just want to say thank you very much for all of your questions. They have been fantastic, but we will answer them and get back to you after this session. And thank you very much, Julie.
That's okay. And if you do want any more details, please either reach out to your account manager or contact us on ask@squiz.net. We would love to give you a bit more of an in-depth demo, especially how it sort of works on the front end and how you can use your forms and look at the statistical data as well, since we had a lot of questions about the reporting.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for joining, and I hope you have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.